Hey guys.
All right.
Why is it so cold in Florida? I'm so excited to come here and it's cold.
I'm obsessed.
Yeah, I know.
Can you guys hear me on this? Raquel, I'm sorry I called you a twat.
All right. Welcome everybody. I'm Randall. I'm originally from Miami, so I've been part of this festival for a long time, and this is the first time we've ever done a reality panel. I thought it was appropriate due to the fact that I'm engaged to a reality star, so here we go. I just want to say that we broke a record today. This is the most people in attendance in the history of the festival for a panel. So congratulations.
All right.
So first I just want to talk a little bit about reality television. The beginning of reality television started in the 1940s with Candid Camera. That was probably the first show. And in the 50s we had Miss America pageant. And in the 70s we had shows like The Dating Game and Star Search. And it wasn't until the 80s that The Real World and shows like Cops brought us to define and turn reality into a multi-billion-dollar business. Now, as a movie producer, I've always known reality was a huge thing, but it wasn't until the last decade that companies like Endemol, Fun and Murray, and Evolution were sold for hundreds of millions of dollars, at which point I was like, shit, why didn't I get in the reality business and not make movies? But today I want to explore this further with two of the biggest reality stars in television. They're on a show that's been on the air for 6 years. Number 2 on Bravo.
7 years.
7, sorry. There you go. That's why I'm not on the show. And it's called Vanderpump Rules. So when I got together with Lala, I really didn't realize the ins and outs of making a reality television show. I just thought they'd throw a camera up and they walk around and they fight and they kill each other and that's just reality. It's obviously a lot more complicated than that. So today I want to explore that, kind of let you guys get some insight into that. I'm going to ask them a bunch of questions, a shitload of questions. And then after that, I'm going to open it up to you guys and let you guys ask a lot of questions to them directly. So let me just introduce each of them, even though you know who they are. Lala's completed 4 seasons of Vanderpump. She's the CEO and founder of Give Them Lala Beauty, which she started 2 years ago and has become the highest grossing privately owned beauty line. Her song Boy landed at #1 on iTunes and recently just co-starred with Al Pacino in the movie Access Sally. Lala and Ken. And of course, we have Jax Taylor, who's been on the show for all 7 seasons. He is the co-founder and partner of Just Add X, a premium cocktail mixer, which he started with Lance Bass of NSYNC, and recently partnered with Richard Branson. They're the official sponsor of the Virgin Fest, which is like Coachella, but in London it will be bigger. And they launched last week at the prestigious South by Southwest Film Festival. Jax Taylor. Thank you. All right, let's get into it. So, let's start with, how did each of you get on this show? Do you go to an audition? Do you have an agent? How does it happen? Because we hear about how all these shows are cast, they're manipulated, they're not true. So, Jax, why don't you start, and then Lala.
For me, I was actually on my way out of Hollywood. I had my car packed. I'll give you the short version. I had my truck packed. I was moving to Florida. I kind of just gave up on Hollywood. I had enough. I was out there for 10 years doing the modeling and the acting thing, and I hit 30, and I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. And then I was dating Stassi at the time, and I was bartending part-time at Sir, and Lisa came up to me and asked me to be on a television show, and I was like, you know what? I've been promised a lot of these in the past. I don't want to do it anymore. I'm going to go home. I want to be with my family. I want to be, I just want to give up. I don't want to do it anymore. She's like, will you just please stay and audition for this pilot that I have about the restaurant? I'm like, okay, fine, I'll do it. So I stayed an extra couple days. I promised my dad I'd be back to Florida. But I stayed an extra couple days. I didn't tell him. And, the pilot got picked up. And I guess, the rest is history. But yeah, I was actually on my way out. My car was packed and everything. And Lisa asked me to do it, and I couldn't say no, really.
And quick question, so you were friends with all the people in the cast?
Yeah, I've been friends with everybody, actually, for a long time. I mean, Tom Sandoval and I met, I think I was 21. We were living in Miami modeling together. And yeah, we've been friends for a very long time. I think that's why our show works, because we're all already friends. We're not a casted show, like some shows out there. I'll be like, okay, we need you to fight with this person. We need you to be friends with this person. You know, this is what's going to happen over here. This is already all going on. So it was really easy for the producers just to come in and turn the camera on and just let it go.
Great. Lala?
With me, I had been going to SIR since the age of 17. I grew up with 2 girls back home in Utah that were working at the restaurant, and I would go in often when I moved to LA. I knew Jax vaguely. I knew, everyone a part of the cast. And Lisa was in the restaurant watching me, I guess, and came up to me and offered me a job at SIR. And with that job came a position on the show. And what's so crazy is, like Jax said, we've all had a very organic fit. There have been people that come onto the show and it just doesn't work out because there's not that organic feel. And with me, I remember being 19 and seeing Jax for the first time in his beanie. And that was the first time that he had met Stassi. So there was just so much history before the show even came to be. And then I became a part of it, and I've been giving them Lala ever since.
As you have. All right, and why don't we just start with, can you tell us, either one of you or both, just what the hours are like? Because I really am shocked at the commitment both of you make. Just tell us. Is it like
definitely bleed out
show?
for the show.
Did you get a call sheet?
It used to be in the beginning, it was very, the first season, it was very okay, here's your schedule for the week. Now it's they have keys to our place and they just show up. And, a lot of people ask me if you see the cameras. And the first 6 months of the show, yeah, they were there, but now I don't even pay attention. I don't even know where they are. I don't know when they're showing up. They just show up. Usually they get a phone call, they know we're hanging out. They don't actually like it when we hang out. We actually hang out more when we don't film than when we do film, believe it or not. And yeah, they get nervous when we're not filming.
It's much more uneventful because you hang out with people that you enjoy, right? And when you're on a TV show with people that you're either arguing with at the time, most people have the luxury of disconnecting from them. Not with us. If there's a meltdown, we get a call from production. Cameras are on your way to wherever you are, and we're dealing with it right now. So it's there's not really a call sheet. It's just hey, can you be free for the next 9 months of your life? Because anything that happens, we're going to need to document that.
Yeah, it gets a little intense. What you saying was with the, I forgot what I was going to say. Anyway, go ahead, it'll come.
Well, and the question also is, what is the schedule like?
There is no schedule. There's no days off. There's supposed to be 1 day off a week, but there's never a day off. It's straight through. Yeah.
In film, you get your call sheet, obviously. Do you know how a call sheet works, producer Randall? A call sheet is something that tells you where you need to be and stuff.
Well, here's the
we
thing.
get a text message that says, this is where you need to be at 9 o'clock. Films, and then all it says is to be announced, is what time you wrap. I'm that's a little hard to plan around.
And what I remember what I was going to say. So for instance, say you and I got into a fight. Normal people would take a couple days off and say, you know what, we'll visit each other in a few days when we go off. They don't do that. So if I got in a fight with Lala, they're going to put us right back in the room tomorrow and say, keep going until you hash this out. So they don't want any break time. They don't want us to text each other and be I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. They don't want any of that.
No text messages. They tell you, please do not, let's just say Jax and I got in a fight, you cannot text Jax.
Yeah.
Absolutely no communication until cameras are there.
Which is the hardest thing ever. Because something's going on and you want to text so bad, or you can see something coming and you want to let them know, but yeah, you can't do that.
And you guys, one thing
then add alcohol into that too. A lot of alcohol. By the way.
And see.
Yeah, and see.
Tell me about the emotional toll it takes after the show, because obviously you film a TV show, you give your heart and soul, like a scripted show, you give your heart, it's over, you wrap, you go to dinner, you see friends and family, you go to sleep, it's a normal life. Having going home at night with Lala, I know that shit doesn't end, so I'd like to hear how it affects you guys. So audiences understand when you do fight, or you do have a bad day, it really does keep going because it's real life.
Yeah, there's nothing scripted about this. Everyone's like, is this scripted? I would love to wake up every morning and just go in and say, oh, here's a script, this is what you have to do today, and then punch out. There's no punching in, punching out. This is it. This is what we throw out. I think that the toughest thing for me about this show is, and I love our producers, I love our editors, but you got to realize the show is 45 minutes long. It's an hour long, 45 minutes long with commercials. They got to get to the points quick. So, for instance, if Lala and I got into a fight, usually sometimes the fight takes an hour long. They're just going to go to the high points. So you're going to catch it on me going, ah, and they're like, well, Jax is such an asshole. Well, okay, you didn't see how the fight started. You didn't see how it ended. You saw me going, fuck yo, you mother. And they're like, well, God, why does he act like that? Well, you didn't see how I got to my boiling point. You just saw the boiling point. So everyone's like, that's why I get frustrated. We're like, well, you didn't know how the fight started, or it ended, or who was right and who was wrong. They just show when you're at your melting point. So that's frustrating to me.
Yes. Exactly. Right.
But again, I love our producers and editors. They're doing their job. They just have so much footage to put in a 45-minute program. So it has to all make sense. It has to. Everybody all has to have a story going on, and it has to be interesting. So it's a tough job. It really is.
For me as a woman, I'm very emotional. And if I see anything on TV and I don't remember it that way, he gets to hear about it. And I will obsess over it for weeks on end. Since I've been sober, it's only days now that I obsess. And it really does take an emotional toll. Because here's the thing, we have producers and cameramen that come, they film our lives, we all are a family. They get to go home and we have to deal with it beyond the show that airs. We have articles that are written. We see Instagram or any type of social media that isn't so friendly. And it's hard to disengage because it is your real life and you have all these people that want to give you their opinion. And you take it to heart as much as I sit here and I'm like, I don't give a shit, I shake that off. It's like, I say that and then I go home to Randall and he's the one that has to hear about me not shaking that shit off.
She doesn't shake anything off. There's nothing. It goes on for a long time.
Katie's going through it right now. Katie's getting beat down on Twitter, and it's hard. We always say don't look at it, don't look at Twitter. It's just people hiding behind a keyboard that have nothing to do. But it's tough. She's going through it right now.
When you guys are filming, because we obviously see the end product, we only see the climax of fights. Does it ever get so nasty or ugly that producers have to step in and break you up like referees? How does it go when it gets
Luckily,
really
we're on Bravo and not VH1 because they do.
The first season for me was a little rough. I mean, we had a camera guy come in and have to. You remember the whole Frank situation in Vegas? That happened, and then there was a time. When Tom punched me one time, that was warranted.
But what happens in those moments for us? Like we're not there. Do security come in? Does a producer try to brag? You're a big guy, so a producer. He's gonna get knocked out if I try to stop.
Well, if I'm coming at you, we were just talking about this the other day because I was like, they're gonna have to bring security for our reunion because it's gonna be brutal. If it's gonna be a brutal reunion, but most of the time. They do bring in security, especially if we're filming at SUR for our vacations, because stuff's going on and people from the outside tend to wander in. But it's normal.
But I would say, you do your thing and you go off on people, and then there's the phone call the next morning from production. And that's when all the shame sets in, and you remember what you did, and they make you feel so embarrassed and mortified that you never want to do it again. You're like, oh my gosh, I really feel like you just tamed the beast with that one phone call. Nothing my mother ever taught me in my 28 years mattered. Just that one phone call from producers.
You know it's coming too, because Bravo's going to get flagged on something we wrote, because they have a team that sits just for social media alone, watching the Housewives, watching whatever they do, because they get flagged. The network finds out, and then we have to delete it. I know it's coming. Every time I get heated and I go off on Twitter, I get a phone call from Bravo. I see that New York office, I'm like, fuck, I'm in trouble again. There we go, delete the post.
When you guys started to get recognized, when this celebrity thing takes over, when you walk down the street and people are fans and love the show, or even believe everything on the show is your real life, how did that affect you? Because you went from basically being a waiter or a bartender at a restaurant, or a hostess at a restaurant. All of a sudden you walk down the street, people are asking for autographs or pictures, or they're saying mean or nasty things. How do you deal with that fame? Is it easy? Is it hard? What does that make? What does that do to you as you start to become more recognizable?
I mean, I try to take pictures with everybody, because at the end of the day, you guys are the ones paying my bills. So, you know, I mean, we wouldn't have a show if it wasn't for you guys. So I try to take pictures as much as I can. Obviously, if I'm on a date with Brittany, or if we're doing something together, then sometimes I get a look, do you mind if we eat? Because sometimes I'll be like mid-chewing, and people will be like, oh my God, people have some serious balls. They'll come in, I could never do that to people. I just couldn't do that. But I don't mind. I always say, yeah, just give me a second, even though I'm like, it's a one-on-one thing. But yeah, 9 times out of 10, no, I take pictures of everybody. I don't mind. It's a little freaky though, it is. Like random people that you would never think watch your show. I mean, I have incidences where like I've had like 400-pound linemen, NFL linemen, like, yo, Jax, I love your show. Like, oh my God. You know, my wife, it's always, I don't watch it. My wife makes me watch it. I don't know who you are, but my dog groomer's aunt's uncle loves your show. And can we get a picture? And it's always that. I'm like, dude, you can own it. I watched Housewives before I was on Bravo, because I got sucked in through Stassi. So it's like it happens. And Bo watches Housewives because Stassi didn't even tell him to watch it. He just watches it on his own. That's weird to me, but okay. We have a group chat. He's just always telling us stuff about housewives. Okay, we're like, this is a guy's group chat. Why are you talking about New York housewives right now?
Because it's the best housewives. You guys can talk about New York all day. For me, I still get confused when people want to take photos with me, because I'm like, what have I done that's that cool? You know, like I'm like really flattered. Every time someone cares about me on the street. And so I don't know, I try to just relish in that moment, because at the end of the day, like, I know that our cast is a part of a show that's based on a restaurant, but every single person on our show did not move to LA with the end goal of being on Vanderpump Rules. They moved out with like incredible talent, you know, whether it was acting, singing, producing something, and then we just got this incredible opportunity that ended up being Vanderpump Rules 7 seasons in. So anytime we get any sort of love for what we're putting out there, it's like, I don't know, I feel like I have to pinch myself most of the time.
Yeah, it's a blessing, because it really was just, this just happened. And like I said, we moved out there to be actors, models, whatever. Even the guys in the beginning didn't want to do the show. But the guys were like, well, wait, this is going to mess with my acting career. This is back when the acting and the reality didn't mesh. Now you can do both. But this is back when, like, if you did reality, then you're never going to be an actor. And if you do actor, you're never going to do reality.
And now, like, with the opportunities that have been brought to my front door just from this show, like, the fans are amazing for watching it. Our production team, bravo for having us on the air as long as they have. Like, I never would have imagined having my own beauty line. And Vanderpump Rules single-handedly gave me that opportunity.
Yes.
So even though there's like all of this bad stuff that we try to push out of our minds, like, you have to remember all of the great things that have come, like unreal fans that share their stories with us. You know, it's like.
Can you elaborate on that? Just tell us what's like the best opportunities that you guys have gotten from the show. What has come your way? Things that the good stuff that's come out of being on a show like this.
I had a conference call with Richard Branson last week. I mean, that's what I had to pinch myself. I'm like, I'm talking to Richard Branson right now. Like, he wants to partner with me.
Richard Branson is the billionaire that started Virgin. So
I mean, Lance Bass from NSYNC is like one of my good friends now. It's just the most random. It's just random.
For me, it would be obviously my pride and joy, Give Them Lala Beauty, and also the acting opportunities. I now have a foot in the door, which, you know, when my name comes up, people know, like, oh yeah, I know that chick from this. It gives me an in for the opportunity to be seen on camera when I go into an audition, and working with Al Pacino and being able to hear him say, like, wow, you're really good. You know, like, those are the opportunities that come to me on the more, like, self-serving side, I guess.
Yeah.
And then the opportunities as far as other things, just me being able to talk about my passion for women and what they bring to our world, and trying to uplift them in what I call a modern day feminist outlook on life. So that's what I would say.
Awesome. That's right. Jax, you go, and then Lala.
I think what happened with Brittany and I was probably the worst thing, and then also getting engaged was the best. So yeah.
And tell everybody, because I could never imagine obviously having my worst moment and best moment on a television show. And what happens in a moment like that where it all plays out in cameras? Do you lock yourself in a room?
That's what I did. I locked myself in a room for a while. Didn't look at my phone, but I knew I had to approach. I was going through a lot at that time. I lost my father, I lost my girl, I lost everything. It was like a country song. It really was. It really was. And then I was like, I can either go one way or I can go the other. I can put myself in a hole and do a ton of drugs and just whatever, or I can just, face it, and try to better myself and say, listen, it's gonna be a lot of work. I gotta get my girl back, I gotta get my life back. But, I chose to go that route, and it's doing all right. I got a long way to go, but I'm doing all right.
Wow. Lala?
I would say the worst moment for me on the show, which will always be my only regret on the show, is when I stooped to the level of attacking Katie for her physical appearance. Number one, I never meant it. Number two, it was lazy and unkind. So that will always be my biggest regret. I usually don't have regrets because that show is just a timeline of things that I've been through. So that's the one thing that I regret. I would say the best part of the show would be, I landed on the show and really wasn't connecting with anybody, and now these people are like my best friends, my backbone, the core of really who I am. We all travel together, we have fun. I know if I'm struggling, they're gonna get it. So I would say that's the most positive thing. I gained friends that I didn't think I could ever have in my whole life.
Do you guys ever get to a point where you're filming and you're a couple months in, no sleep deprived and just over it, where you just want to say, leave me alone? And do you ever not show up? Do you ever say, I'm not coming today, it's just too much? Or, is it a professional? How does it go down when it gets really ugly? When we just overexhausted?
Not showing up is bad. That's bad. You'll get a call. You don't want to get a phone. You get sent to the red room, which is the room at the Evolution office. When they call you in there, I've been called in there once. If you call you in there, that's not good. That's not good. That happens all the time. There's just be a day like where everything's always a party or an event. Another day where we got to drink. You don't have to drink, but you're gonna drink. It's like we're gonna have one. You're not gonna have one. You're gonna have 25. Right? Honestly, you have to drink to get through some of this shit. You really do.
I've ghosted a few times. That was bad, really bad. At the end of the day, it's a television show, and you signed a contract. Your ass better show up. It's your job. You are, whether you're having the best day ever or the worst day ever, that's what the show is about. Your real life and what you're dealing with. So there's no locking yourself in a room, even though the majority of the time that would be very nice.
We're going to just touch on social media for a second, and then I think we'll probably open it up to the audience. You guys could ask questions. Because I don't watch the show that much, for my own well-being. But, so I don't really know what's going on as much. But social media today in Hollywood, at least in movies and in reality and all television, plays a huge role, just on whether it's promotion, self-promotion, promoting other things. I know Lala deals with a lot of different comments, a lot of love and a lot of hate, and I know you do too, Jax. How do you guys deal with that? Does it affect you? Do you just say, oh, screw it, I don't give a shit? Or do you read a comment that says, Jax, you're an asshole, or Lala, you're a whatever? Does it affect you? Or do you just learn to shake it off? Because I couldn't deal when somebody, would just attack me all day, on my own. So
I have my moments. It depends how much pot I smoked. I'm gonna be honest. Good answer. It really depends. If I'm going out and I come home and something's happened on the show and I go on my social media and I'll go into a tear. And that's when I usually get in trouble. It's usually, I'll just start going in on everybody, but then I'll get up sometimes and I'll be like, have a great day, everyone. Drive safe today. Drive safe, Happy Wednesday. Happy hump day. I'll days like that too. So it kind of goes up and down. It really depends on the mood. But I tell you what, social media can ruin my day. It has. You can get up in a great mood, look at something and says, Jack's done this. And I'm like, son of a bitch. Just leave me alone, man. I can't be the most interesting person to have you headline. There's got to be other shit going on in the world, really? That bothers me.
So there are days where people say something and it does affect you. And I think that's my note here is that social media has become like the telephone for us today. for the older people in the crowd, myself. So, you know, and that's what's shocking, because if somebody called me up 20 years ago and said, I'm an asshole, or I'm this, or I'm that, I would be upset. I'd you know, call somebody and, but today they just, you know, it's easy to text a message to somebody you don't know, and I'm shocked at the kind of hate that goes on. And to be somebody in the media is probably
we signed up for this, so it's kind of like we knew this going in. I got really thick skin. I do. Nothing really bothers me too much. That's why Andy always really goes in on me. He knows. Because after the episode, he's like, "Was I too hard on you? Was I too hard?" I'm like, "No, I don't care. Whatever. It's fine. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, you see what you see on TV, and people are going to make their comments, and they're free to make their comments, and it is what it is, really."
See, I feel like it's my job to protect myself, and social media is one of those things that makes that very difficult. So when I saw that I could not control the content I was seeing on Twitter, I deleted it. It's not serving me in any way, shape, or form to see something negative about me. And then with Instagram, you know, there are days where an episode will come out and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get heat for this. This is not good. And I will literally squint my eyes, clear out my entire inbox because I can't help myself from reading them, and I'll turn off my comments because it's just, if something's not going to serve me in a positive way and help build me up, then I don't need it, especially from a stranger. I have a mother to take care of me and tell me what I've done wrong, and I think that's really the only person I need to put me in check.
Oh, wow.
I mean, you don't need Susie from Ohio behind her keyboard telling you what she thinks about your life?
No, I don't need to do that.
Okay.
The last question, what is the coolest thing you ever did on the show? I mean, personally, that you just look back and go, that was one of the coolest things we ever got to do on our show. If there is a cool one that you can remember. I know you guys do a lot of cool things. You travel to a lot of cool places. Yeah, I like
Did
that.
a lot of really cool stuff. I mean, obviously proposing to Brittany, you know, it's such a beautiful place, sunset, dolphins in the background. I mean, I couldn't have planned that, you know. That was probably my biggest highlight. Meeting Brittany, you know, all that happened on the show, so.
That's pretty amazing. La?
We do get to do a lot of cool things on the show. Anytime we get to take a trip, and anytime they care about me performing, anytime I get to put things that I've been working on out for people to see, I feel like that's a cool moment. It's our platform. We get to engage and show people really cool things that hopefully they can relate to in some way, shape, or form.
What to do, what not to do if you move to Hollywood.
All right, well, thank you guys. That was great. I'd love for you guys to ask questions if there's anything specific, because a lot of you know the show. If there's things you want to know.
Thanks for watching, everybody, by the way. Thank you so much. I'm so glad you guys like the show. I'm so glad we can keep doing this, following our crazy train wreck lives that we live. Jax Rules, I love that. I love it. I love it.
Wow.
Lala Rules. I love it.
All right, does anybody have a question?
John.
That's the question.
Brittany, by the way, Brittany is very ill.
You want to take this, or
Jackson's your fiance.
we had a little bit of an issue this morning, but I think she'll be okay. I think she'll be alright. She's a little under the weather this morning.
Yes.
Too many-
So we're
too many
sending
summers.
Brittany love. We're sending Brittany love.
She asked me if I still work at the restaurant. I'm going to be honest with you, it's impossible for us to work there. Now, we all have other projects going on. We'll go in and I'll take pictures with people, but I mean, to get good service, I'll make a drink and then people will be asking me questions. I'm like, I got to get the drinks out. You know, we can sit and talk or I can make you a drink, but I can't do both because the bar is busy and it's got to make money. So I'd rather just come in once or twice a week. I'll take pictures with everybody, I'll answer questions. And it's just a lot easier that way. And I think it's great for everybody too, because the other bartenders can make more money. So.
Plus, they know how to make drinks that consist of more than 2 ingredients.
And Lala, do you still work at the restaurant?
Like he said, it's pretty impossible. When I first started working there, I was a hostess. Every time I try to seat a table, it is impossible for me to get you to your table with the amount of time that it should take. So yeah, we go in, we still clock in, but I can't say that you're gonna get seated very quickly with me.
It's tough for the girls because they have to go up. I have a bar. I can walk away, but the girls go up to the table and be like, okay, then they'll start asking about their lives, and they're like, okay, would you like a sandwich? And oh, by the way, it's like it just doesn't work. It doesn't work.
Yes.
John Tan. Hey guys, I'm John Tan with Pinstripe Productions. This is more for Jax because I'm not super, no spoilers anyway, but you can answer this in your own question. If you can go back to first season Jax and be like, Jax, don't do that shit, what would you say? And to you too.
Yes, I would say all that. I would say, but I think they got a lot of good footage the first 3 years. I mean, I was at rock bottom. I had that really diva mentality for a very long time. I left where I'm from in Michigan, and I started doing the modeling thing, and I just was living this lifestyle that was very cush. And I came to Hollywood, same thing. I felt entitled. I felt I deserve a lot of this. I don't care who I hurt or what I do to people. I don't give a shit. I'm gonna be selfish. And I was for a very long time, and I hurt a lot of people. And then, after losing my father, that was kind of like a wake-up call for me. As soon as that happened, my life, changed for the better. Like I said, it could have gone one way or it could have gone the other. I chose to go the other way. But yeah, I really, my dad is like why I am how I am today, for sure.
Awesome.
I really love that question. Whenever we get asked that question, I love it, and here's why. Because every cast member tells what they would have done differently, and I think I'm the only one that's like, I would not have changed a single thing. I joined the show at 23. I did everything because in my mind, that's what 23-year-olds do. They want to just like live their best life, and I sure as hell did. And I just grew from each experience, but like going back, I don't know that I would tell my 23-year-old self or season 4, season 5 self anything differently, because that's the way a girl at that age knows how to deal with stuff. That's just
Why our show was successful. The first 3 years was crazy.
Yeah.
So when you have a fight or something big happens, and you don't get to talk to anybody, you're going to see them the next day, are there any tactics that you use to sort of self-care and self-preserve? Because I feel like this could be very
You don't go to sleep because you have this conversation coming tomorrow. I know I got to talk to Brittany tomorrow about what happened, and it's like you don't go to sleep. You're sick to your stomach. You want to text her, but they're on you. They're making sure that you're not talking because they want to catch all that on film, and they're not there all the time. The cameras are not there all the time. They wish they were, but they're not. So there's sometimes things happen when the cameras aren't there that we're supposed to let them know. But sometimes we don't. But sometimes we try to cheat and get ahead of the situation. But we're just cheating ourselves that we don't give you a good show. So if we miss things like that, and then we look back at the show, and we're like, well, damn it, they didn't put that in there. That's how that really happened. And so we try to make it as authentic as possible.
Obviously, you're compensated for your show. I mean, how does that process work? Is it a yearly contract? How does that individually
I think,
You make money from the show.
They have agents and they have managers and they have lawyers like any actor in Hollywood. And it basically, they have contracts for usually, 3 years at a time or 2 years?
I think everyone's.
Mine was 5.
Yours was 5?
5.
I only do 2 at a time.
Right, but they have reps and they basically get into a negotiation.
And it is up this year. So it is up this year, minus, yeah.
Not that we're going anywhere.
No, not that we're going anywhere, but if any agents are listening and executives, it is up.
But I'll say, because they probably are, it's probably not good business for them to say that much. But when Lala's contract was up, her manager steps in and starts negotiating with the network. They go back and forth just like a producer with an actor on a movie. And
That's actually going on, it's probably in another month. Usually during the off season, that's when they go. Like Bravo will start calling the agents and they'll start going back and forth. It's a process. It's a process.
yeah, it gets intense for them,
We want to know who's making what, not everybody makes the same, so
everybody makes different and then some band together and the whole thing, just like any other show. It's a good question though.
So with the confessionals, how soon after, let's say a fight or a night out or whatever, how soon are you filming that? And do you guys review the footage, as you're commenting on it?
We do not get to see any footage. We see the episode, when you see the episode?
That's actually the one thing that I 'cause sometimes we have meetings with production and we can go, what are your notes? What do you think we could change to make the show better? I like the one thing I do like about MTV, that one show they had where they do the confessionals. What was it, Real World? What was it, Real World? Or they do it right after the incident, because then you get the authentic feel. This is the problem I have. We do our confessionals later, so we'll film a couple weeks, and then they'll do a week of confessionals to catch up on the week. But say I was sad about something, or I was mad, or I was angry, you don't get that. Well, I mean, in our group too, things change every 5 days. I could be best friends with her for this week, and then I hate her next week. That's just how our show works. So it's a little bit frustrating when they come in and be like, even if I got in a fight with Tom, but we made up already, we're like, oh, we're buddies. And they're like, well, we need you to get back in there and say what you were saying. Well, I don't want to say those things anymore. Like, I don't want to say that. It's done. Like, well, we need you to. Now, if they would have got me in there right after the fight, if they would have set up like a little makeshift confessional after each scene, then you'll get authentic Jax, the craziness. But it's just tough to do it because you know you're in confessionals. You know you have to be very clear what you say because they can use things from other shows and try to, spin it. So you have to be very careful. Talk.
Yeah, with the confessionals, so we wrapped filming in August, and then I literally finished my last interview last week for this season.
So are they asking for that fight you had?
Yes. Yes.
I like it when they start breaking the fourth wall. Do you notice that lately the producers, they'll start talking to them, like the housewives, they'll talk, something will happen, like a malfunction, and they'll like shit. Because you're breaking that wall, you're making it feel more, okay, this is real,
First of all, I find you guys both of you are here together. You're so genuine you on the show. You're just awesome.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much.
This question's gonna hurt a little bit.
Ask him, girl. Ask him.
I hate this episode. Did you know take those sunglasses?
Full on took them. There's a story. So did I take the sunglasses? Absolutely. This goes back to my diva mentality. Okay, so this was what, 2 seasons ago when I was thinking, I don't give a shit who, I'm Jax, I can do what I want. So Tom and Katie went to the Dole Pineapple Farm, and I really wanted to go, and I was mad, and there was no room in the car. And so I said, fuck it, we're gonna go on a booze cruise. We went on a booze cruise, drank a lot, came back, drank more at the bar, went on another booze cruise. Again, the same one, drink just as much. I'm hammered, I'm in shorts. I had the money in my hand. As you can see on the camera, police footage, the money was in my hand. I had it. I went to the store, I go, this line is too long, I'm not waiting this line. So I just said, I'm taking these. And I'm going, I walked out. And then the police, when they came to get me, I don't care, whatever, it is what it is. When they said, sir, you have to come with me, and they're like, you need to pay for those you have glasses? I'm like, oh shit, yeah, here's the money for them. He's like, no, it doesn't work that way. And then I went to jail for a day. 2 days. That's how it happened. Yes, that was I was out of my mind drunk too. My offense. Yes.
So you said that you have rules that you need to follow from your producers. What was like one of the rules that you guys broke? If you could tell us, like. So you were saying like you can't text, but like a bigger rule, like.
All of them.
I break rules all the time. Yeah, I can talk to you. But it makes it more fun. Like I can't live by the rules. I'm not gonna try to watch a boring ass show. You wanna watch? Yeah. I mean, I know what I can get away with. I know which producers I can push. I know what I can get away with from which producer. I mean, remember, we've been with these people for 8 years. I know these producers just as much as they know me. They've seen me shower, they've seen us having sex, they know everything about us. So there's nothing, they're like family to us. Some of them have kids now, they're like 6 years old, and it's just crazy. So, yeah, I push their buttons all the time. Some of the rules, like I said, the texting, I'll try to get ahead of a fight if I know it's coming. Usually I can know it's coming. Like this reunion, I know everything that's going to happen already, and I'm so excited that I know. And this is going to be the best reunion yet because
It's going to be the best reunion.
it's going to be, and I'm not saying that because they're not going to be coming just at me. Everybody's got something this season. Everyone.
Mad.
Yes, everybody's mad at everybody. Everyone's going to hold everyone capable. Wait, is that the word? Capable? Accountable. That's a Jaxism. I do that a lot.
But yes, with the rule thing, there's literally one rule. Don't let your life happen at all off camera.
Yeah. We are not, they get petrified. For instance, we're in here together, like, what are you guys doing there? Why are you there? what's going on? What are you talking about?
Trying to figure out if we
And they're
need to
100% all listening to this, I know it. They're gonna wanna, this will go to New York, this will go to LA, you're gonna wanna know what we're saying, for sure.
Okay, so we're from Pinstripe Production, and we would like to know, you talked about coming to Tampa Bay, Jax.
Yes, that was also, yeah.
For the Lightning. Can you tell us a little bit more? You talked about a hockey team.
Yeah, I want to do that. I'm friends with a lot of the Lightning. I'm obviously a big hockey guy, and that was before all this happened with my father and everything. And the main reason I wanted to move to Tampa is to be closer to my dad. Well, my dad's no longer here. This is actually the first time I've been back in Tampa since my dad died. So I won't even go to my house. I'm not even going there. So, yeah. So I wanted to do it to be close to my family. I love hockey. I thought, you know what? I was just hitting bottom on the show. I was getting killed everywhere I looked. You know, Brittany and I just had that. I just did something very bad to Brittany at the time. My friends were doubting me. I just like, you know what? I got to get out of here. I got to start fresh somewhere new. I love hockey. I love Florida. I love my father. That's what I thought I should have done. And obviously things changed, but.
Well, we would have accepted you here.
Oh, thank you. A huge Bulls fan. I hope they win the cup.
Now, you first, ma'am, that you were standing up and showed so great.
I love your show, first of all. But aside from that, I'm curious as how you felt with your meeting with Tyler Henry.
We were just talking about this yesterday. I was like, because I'm nervous about it, because I want to go do it with my father. But I'll let her talk.
Wow. That meeting with Tyler Henry will go down as one of the most incredible days of my life, because it was the one time that I got to have.
This is why I can't. I don't know if I can do it. That's why I don't think I can. I'm gonna look at the guy and sit down and just bawl.
I got to have a connection with my dad again, and just the things that Tyler knew about my family, and things that, you know, a person just wouldn't know unless they were a part of my family. My dad just brought me a lot of peace, and I'm grateful for Tyler that he sat down and brought that to my family, because it was truly an amazing experience. Thank you for asking that question.
I was, by the way, I was there. I was not on camera, but I was there. And I'll tell you, the things that he did know, like, because I was skeptical. I'm like, this is bullshit. No one knows. No one's talking to the dead. Like, stop.
I was the same way when I did the first time. You know, I don't believe in any of that.
But he knew things that you really had to know the ins and outs of her family from 10, 15 years ago. He knew about family feuds that had gone on. He had known about different things that had not been settled, you know, in her family, and it was very emotional, obviously, for her and her mom and her brother. But I was so moved because I could not believe the things that he was saying. That there's no way he would know. So I'm a believer now. I didn't believe.
And he's not
shit, but I'm a believer.
vague. He hits it on the point. He's not like, well, is somebody in your family
He tells you
trying? He was like, was your cousin? She's pregnant right now? I'm like, holy shit! She told anybody. Who knows my cousin in Minnesota? Like. It was just bizarre.
It's really intense. He really says things that you just can't say. You know, you can't just say, "Oh, you had a family member pass." He says, "There's an older brother that has unleft business." I'm like, "What?" I mean, he really knows. So it was a beautiful moment for. Well, I was there, and it was a very emotional day for everybody.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna do it. I gotta have to prep.
I'm really sorry to hear about both of your dads. They're all very emotional right now. I definitely am. But my question is, you guys said that you guys were truly best friends with a lot of the castmates, and you were always friends, which is why it's so great, organic. And so I'm wondering, like, if I was on a show with all my best friends, I'd be scared to confide in them, because you always see the housewives who are like, don't make me say that thing you once told me 3 years ago, you know, on camera or to the press or whatever.
Housewives are a little bit more of a, would you say Housewives, in your opinion, would you say Housewives is a casting show? Would you? Yes.
I would say
they're not friends before the show, so
I feel like your cast is very organic.
I've never, and this is why shows try to copy our show. They try to get our formula. Other networks get our formula. You got to take an existing group that's already there. You can't just do like some shows. I'm not going to name some shows, but like Joey's going to fight with Susie today, and you're in high school, but you're the bitter one, and you're the one that doesn't really sleep with anybody. It doesn't work. They took our show with all these existing issues that I already had and basically show up, turn the camera on, and just let us go. And that's why our show was so successful. This is all, nothing's forced, nothing's pushed. We wouldn't be on a show that was like that. We're not.
And you guys weren't
also
roommates?
feel,
I lived with Tom Sandoval when I was 9. I met him when I was 20 years old in Miami. We lived together for 3 years, and then I met Schwartz in 2005 when I moved here. I met Kristen in 2006 when I was in my 20s, and then dated Stassi and Rachel. I mean, we've all, yeah, it's really incestuous, actually.
and her question was about if, since we're all friends in real life, if you ever get nervous confiding in your friend because it may come out on the show. And I will say that even though everyone gets to watch our real life and things that are going down, there are moments that we have as a cast where it's like, this is something that nobody needs to see. You know, and for me, some people would say, well, then it's not real life. But in real life, without cameras around, there are things that you don't want people to know. That's okay just keeping between you and one other person. So when I do have conversations with some of the cast members, and I know it's one of those talks, you can guarantee that I'm going to be involved, and that's not going to ever be an issue on the show.
Yeah, I mean, when the episodes are coming out right now, I don't watch the show that much, but people say, did you know, like, Tariana said this about your wedding, or this and this, and I'm kind of like, I get a little bitter, because sometimes we do these things and they're like, listen, you have to make a comment on this situation. We know you guys are friends, but you have to do it. And then I'll usually be like, Tom, I'm giving you a heads up. I did talk about this. I did say this, just so you know, so you don't watch the TV and then Twitter goes, wow, Jax is an asshole. He brought all this shit up. I do give them a heads up. They do know that we have to talk about these things, like we do. Like, even if it's personal, like the Tom and Ariana pregnancy thing. We've been drilling that like crazy. And I know Ariana doesn't want to hear it, but that's part of the gig. She signed up for it. She needs to talk about it. That's what it is. You can't just hold it back, hold certain things back, hold what you want. That's not how reality TV works. If you want an authentic, good show, you got to put it all on the line. That's what I think.
Hi.
Hi.
Jax.
Hey.
Watching for season 1. My question is for Lala. You had my phone before.
Thank you, my loves.
I saw your video this week. I was just wondering, how you... Love you guys watching season 1. I saw your video this week, Lala, and I'm sure you have my support and all your fans' support of your video. And I was just wondering, what made you come to the conclusion that you feel like you're an alcoholic, and what made you decide to announce it this week for?
You know, I'm the type of person where I look at what I do, which is I'm on a television show, and I think that being on that show is going to be absolutely pointless if I don't use my voice for something constructive. And I had tried for a very long time. You know, I loved to drink from the time I could drink. And then my dad passed away, and it got me really, really bad. I decided to take a few months off from drinking to retrain myself. That doesn't exist, by the way. And that didn't work. I tried to stick to just wine. I tried to stick to a 2-drink maximum. And just nothing was working. And one day I came home from Orlando, from Disney World. I had been drinking for 4 days straight, morning till night. I woke up and said, I am not doing this another second of my life. And I reached out to a sponsor, and I have been sober for 5 months.
With the crew. I was just kind of wondering, like, with a show that's been on as long as y'all has, like, you're close with them and they're becoming family. Like, what is the relationship like, I guess, when, like, really, I don't know, big moments happen, something sad or something?
That happens. I know where you're going with this.
But I mean,
Yeah.
like,
It's
you
tough.
guys look at you and, like,
It's tough because they're doing their job. Yeah, I've gone through this a few times. No, I don't. Yeah. Because they know, because they're family, but at the same time, they're still trying to do their job. And they're trying to get everything out of them, because their job's on the line. Every season, these producers, their job's on the line. So they need to get the best footage they can get the best details. And yeah, there are friends. They also, it's tough for them. It really is. They're like, Jax, we are tight, but you have to talk about this. And yeah, we went out the other night and had a good time, but this is not. It's a tough because you have to draw that line. That's why technically we aren't supposed to hang out with the producers at all. Once in a great while, if there's a birthday or something, but we're technically not allowed to hang out with them. But it's tough because you said they see us all the time, and then they see us in our most vulnerable states, where I've literally broken down like in front of them about my father. And and I know they're trying to get footage, and I want everyone to know. So, like, for instance, I was just doing interviews the other day, my last ones, thank God, finally last ones. I just did them last week, and it was a lot about my father and my situation with my family, and it was hard to get through, but I had to get through it because people need to know what's going on, and I want people to know why I'm doing certain things, and it's upsetting me. But it's real, it's authentic, and yeah.
I feel like with producers, like, I'm obsessed with them. They're so much fun, I love them. But at the end of the day, they have a job to do, and so do I. They don't care if it's the worst day ever and you want to hide. They need to do their job so that they can bring home a paycheck to their family. So my sadness is always going to come last. And you have to remember that. If you don't want something to be shown, you better be a damn good actor and not show that something's affecting you, because
they'll get it out of you.
They're gonna get it out of you. Even with my dad, there were days where like Rand would be picking me up off the floor, and my call time would be coming up, and I had to go to work to talk about things that at that point in my life, I really didn't give a shit about. Like I just lost my dad. I mean, my mind is thinking about very different things. But again, they have a job to do, and so do I.
Oh, sorry, the mic is here, and then we'll bring it forward. Sorry about that.
Hi, I just had a question, Jax, if you guys were going to be airing your wedding.
Will they be airing their wedding?
Probably. Depends how much they want to pay. No, yeah, probably, of course. I mean, it's authentic, it's my life. If I say no, then that's not being everything I just said. It's my wedding. I mean,
It's your wife's
right,
life too.
right.
On the show.
And we're both on the show. So for me to say no, we're not putting it on the show, and then everything we just talked about being authentic would not need so much attention.
Yeah, Lala.
Well, he's got a different story. Their situation's a little differently. His job.
No, mine will not be aired.
The leading up to it will be there.
This is a two-part question. First of all, how did you arrive? What were your transportation?
Oh, I love this question!
This is the best question of the whole night.
Mama's not the bougie one.
Yes.
He's the bougie one, and we flew Southwest.
Commercial. Good commercial. That's a big step. Commercial?
Hold on. Okay.
Calls me up the night before. Let's tell the story. Calls me the night before. He says, "Jax, the plane's broke. What do we do? What do you want to do?" I'm like, "Just get there. We're gonna take Southwest. We're gonna do this together. We're gonna hold hands. It's gonna be okay. We're gonna go through security like TSA, like normal human beings. We're gonna get checks up and down.
First of all,
We're gonna get peanuts."
I have flown commercial my whole life, like the rest of the world. But at a certain point, I was lucky and blessed enough to be able to acquire an airplane. I just want to say, because I am on the advisory board of this festival. I am from Florida, and I love this festival more than anything. My plane did break. It needed a little maintenance. It was going to be fixed today. It is fixed now. And I said, "Jax, do we wait till go today?" And he's like, "No, we just get on Southwest and go." And I said,
Normal human beings. We get up early. We drive to the airport.
so I want to say that when we got on the airplane, that Jax rules, yeah.
Stared at him the whole time. I literally just look, every time there's a baby crying, I'm looking over, I'm just like,
The whole flight tortured me. The whole flight
it was like spring break, choir kids are on there, it was great.
It was a lot of work.
Loved it.
And I was bunched up in a little
This on his phone, on his
mama,
phone.
Some woman that was a Vanderpump fan leaning over, asking questions the whole time. So it was pure hell. So, yes,
I love
we flew
this.
Southwest.
Great.
God bless.
Great. That's a great question.
What was your second question?
Well, I'm just curious about if they forced alcohol, but I don't think But as far as weddings, because we've seen so many, does the network before?
Absolutely not. I wish, absolutely not. God's honest truth on my father. Not a dime. No. Now, that's a little different. That's a little different. Dude, they know that this will be a nationally televised wedding. So that means that's good for a lot of people that want to help support the wedding. I'm trying to put this nicely, but if, you know, if you want to help, but no, because then again, you know, they want to make it authentic as much as possible. So no, I think they'll pay for security for the. That's it. We have a lot of, like, I think celebrities come in the way, so we have to have a lot of security. But other than that, that's all they'll pay for.
So what's it like to work for Lisa Vanderpump? How do you guys feel about her situation?
I was, oh my gosh. If I had a dog from Vanderpump Doggy and it wasn't working out, I would have called Lisa Vanderpump immediately to tell her it was not working out.
She did take it to the whole other group.
She gave it to a woman who then took it to a kill shelter.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So I am team Lisa Vanderpump the entire way on this. And I love the drama that's happening because I'm a reality TV whore.
We love Lisa, obviously. She's kind of like a mother to us. She can be tough to deal with it at times. I mean, I give it right back to her, though. I think I'm the only one that kind of has the balls to give it back to her. But I love her. I love Ken, too. They're amazing. They gave us, you know, this opportunity, and obviously we kept it going. But I don't really pay much attention to what goes on in the Housewives. But you know what Lisa does?
He's missing out.
But she does come to me. You know what? I do have to say, there was one time she came up to me, she's like, how do you deal with it? When she gets it from her cash, she'll come to me and say, how do you deal with it? So, I mean, even she's, you know, capable. It's rough. It's rough. And I thought, you know, I just don't let things like this bother me. But she's a woman. She's looked at for so long up here, and then people attack her, who she is. I get it. I understand.
So, of course, we love you guys. We have a little trip coming up to LA. We have our reservation at SIR already. So I was just wondering, like, how many months or weeks do you guys film, and what months, just in case we run into it?
It's supposed to be a 3-month thing, but it ends up, we just finished this season. Technically, I just finished the season 2 days ago.
Yeah, so like, when it comes to like full-blown storylines that we're filming, like to make the season, we film all summer. But then you have the interview process, which we film up until last week.
Sometimes they miss things. Sometimes the audio couldn't catch something, so we'll have to go back in and redo a scene or a situation. I had to do one of those last week, and I threw a little wrench actually in something just to make it something a little spicy. But I'm like,
so I would say a typical season would take from May until September.
Oh, yeah.
Come see us, baby. We'll show you a good
That's
time.
right when we start. That's like right when the good stuff starts. First week of May.
Hi guys, love you both. The show. Kind of a two-part question. If the show were to end tomorrow, cameras were gone, I know you're all friends. Would you guys kind of drift away, or would you still hang out? And what would you do? Would you go get
Wish I could tell you the answer to
a
this.
career, real job, or what would you do if just all the camera fame went away?
Well, I don't want to give anything away because we're all making a lot of transitions in our life right now, and I don't want to like let people know what's going on yet.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and toot my own horn. If the show were to end tomorrow, which I would be devastated because I have so much fun filming it, but Give Them Lala Beauty brought in 7 figures for 2018, so I would. And, you know, I think with the cast, there are a few people that I probably wouldn't talk too much anymore, but for the majority, like these guys, they're not going anywhere. They're stuck with me.
Same answer. I think there's a couple of the drifters that I probably wouldn't talk to anymore. I call them the drifters. I call them drift because they like to drift into scenes. They like to be part of things. I call them them. I probably wouldn't talk to much of them anymore, but I would concentrate on my drink. That's going really well right now. Focus on that. Get our beer cheese thing up, going. Brittany's got a lot of things going on right now. We have our wedding going on. We have a lot of stuff going on. And for next year, too. I guess I can say it. And we just bought a house. Fuck it. Yeah, we just bought a house. So that's been taking up a lot of my time. And I'm in charge of the house, Brittany's in charge of the wedding. And that's what's taking up a lot of time right now. So that's why the beer chief's kind of taking a back seat for a second, just because we wanted to get into a house. We wanted to get into a house before we get married. That way we don't have to go back to the apartment again. Thanks. Homeowner. 39.
Guys,
First time.
I love the show. I have a question. How is the relationship with James and Billy?
Who are James and Billy?
Next question.
The extras for our show.
Background? The background actors?
Great job. They're doing a great job. And we don't even have to pay them very well.
Oh, shit.
Definitely getting a phone call.
Yeah, it's okay.
Hi. First of all, absolutely love the show. I found out about it like a year ago, finished through it in like a month and a half. Obviously, I love reality TV shows, and you mentioned that you're a reality TV whore. And I would like to know from both of you, which are your favorite shows right now and why?
Yes, yes.
Reality show or show in general?
Reality show. Like, I want drama. From here.
Real Housewives of BH, obviously, because the queen is on it. And you guys, if you haven't watched Real Housewives of New York, you're missing out. Because that show gives me all the vibes that I need forever.
I watched the boring car ones on Discovery. I'm not fun. I like muscle car stuff, building cars. I know, there's no drama. I know.
You watched 90 Day Fiance too.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I got a little hooked on that one. Bo's got me on. You're right. You know what? You're right. Love After Lockup is another one. I mean, it's so bad that you just can't stop watching. You can't stop watching. Like Angela from 90 Day. I love her. Love her. Yeah, you're right. Well, I do watch those. That's right. I got it.
Oh my god, what's his name? With the cats. He has like baby doll. Cole!
I'm like, this is not real.
Colty, yes.
I liked him in the beginning, but now they figured it out. The cast has figured it out. Like, we're gonna be on Hollywood. I thought in the beginning it was authentic, but I feel like these kids are getting awfully young, and some of them are good looking. Like, why are you doing this? It doesn't make. You want to be on TV. You want to be on TV. But in the beginning, no, they didn't. Like, they were authentic. But I think kind of they just figured it out. Do you agree or no?
I agree.
Okay. You have to say I agree. Okay. Brittany's here.
I'm obsessed with you guys. You guys are crazy.
Yeah, Hooters later.
You guys are so crazy. I love it. It makes me feel normal.
I'm glad that we're doing our part.
Okay, so also a two-part question. Does this show pay for the trips? And then, more importantly, does the show pay for the bar tabs? They want you drunk for all the fights. They give us 2 drinks. And
2 drinks.
Lord knows we drink a lot more than that.
We've been on the show for 8 years. 2 drink minimum. What the fuck is 2 drink minimum? I've been on this show for 8 years. Here's 2 drink tickets, Jax. Fucking keep your drink tickets. Drink tickets to 2 drink max. Make sure you Uber home. That's what they say to me. I've been on the show for 8 years. You know me better than like, make sure you Uber home. Only 2 drinks. You're not gonna have a good show with 2 drinks. I'll tell you that. Oh, in the trip situation? I mean, it depends on the trip. It depends on who's taking us. It depends on what it is.
Like Tom and Tom, they took us to Mexico this season, which was pretty lit.
Right, yeah. That was a good time. It really depends on what it is. It really depends.
You guys are obviously getting married, not to each other, but to other people. So what's going to happen in this next chapter? I mean, obviously Vanderpump has been all about following you guys, not really single, you guys are in relationships, but what is it going to look like? I mean, you've been very open about wanting to have children. I'm sure you want to get maybe, so what's the next phase?
We're just gonna turn into housewives. That's what I want to happen. Can we just slowly turn into, I mean, that's what I hope happens.
Yeah, I wonder that often because we don't know. Our job, I guess, is just to live our lives whatever way possible, and then producers can do whatever they want with that. So I don't know. I have no idea what this show will evolve into.
I mean, you guys all know Tom Sandoval moved. He's at all of theater. He bought a house. I bought a house a mile away. Maybe somebody else also bought a house a mile away from me. I'm not going to tell you who.
And maybe another person.
And maybe another person bought a house last week. Oh yeah, she bought a house last week. So bought a house last week. So everybody's kind of out of Hollywood. We're moving to the Valley. So Valley rules. Did I give away too much? Oh fuck, who cares? So yeah, we like I said, obviously we all love each other. We're moving a mile away from each other.
I just want to say one thing. I came to the party a little late with the Vanderpump show, but they're really, really close friends, all of them. I mean,
we see each other every single day. Like I'll run into one of them every single day. There's never a day we don't see each other.
Because when I hear about reality, I always hear about how it's set up or scripted or this or that. These guys choose to hang out with each other daily, weekly, weekends, go on trips together. I mean, they're really close friends, all of them. It's pretty commendable that they do a show every day, go through all the bullshit they have to go through, and then hang out still organically. So I commend all of you guys. It's not an easy thing, and
that's why I get nervous when we hang out. Because I was like, what's going on? What's happening?
Do you guys have any past acquaintances or friends that just come out the woodwork on a show that they just text you randomly, they're like,
oh, you're making money now, right? Let's invest in this company. Let's want to be your best friend. Everybody's come out of the woodwork. Everybody.
I have a lot of people that like want to talk to like Z-list blogs about my life, and they're like, this woman Nancy from this place has a story about you that she's trying to give us. I'm like, first of all, I don't even know a Nancy. So it's like the craziest thing. There's people that come out of the woodwork and then they like meet you one time and they think they know your whole life and they're gonna like go sell a story, which who's gonna read that? No one cares what Lala Kent did. You know, it's like I'm not Angelina Jolie, so you're not gonna make much money off of me, guys, just letting you know.
Who's the better boss, Andy or Lisa?
That's a great, fun.
Who is the better boss? He's not the boss. He's the vice president of the company.
That's pretty bossy to me.
I mean, is he the vice president of, is he? I mean,
He's the face of Bravo.
He's the face of Bravo, yes. But is he in charge of our hiring? Is he in charge of that?
I have a
I don't
feeling
think so.
if Bravo,
Maybe.
if Andy wanted
No,
one of us
Housewives.
off the show,
Yes.
we
If
probably
he wanted me
wouldn't
off,
be
he can
here.
have me off at any time. I think he more or less he's in charge of the Housewives is his baby. Housewives is his thing.
Wait, did you say who was the more fun boss?
Yeah, who do you like better?
I would, they're both good in their own ways. They both, yeah.
Lisa's really fun when she gets a couple glasses of Vanderpump Rosé.
She is. When she, I don't know if she'll kill me, but yeah, when she drinks a little bit and she smokes a cigarette, I'm like, who the hell are you? She gets rowdy. Yeah, after a couple of drinks, she just lets it all down and like, you're just like one of us. You know?
And she's super hot too, so it's like, you do your queen.
And Andy's great too. I've hung out with Andy when he gets a little sauce too. He's a lot of fun.
Appreciate that. Rand, first of all, thank you for Lone Survivor. Absolutely 5 stars. Watch it every time it's on.
Thank you for those signs. Love it.
Love you guys. You two are my favorite along with LVP. So my question is, and if you could put aside your feelings for this person just for this one question. If James Kennedy beats Katie to LVP, says, hey, either fire her because I don't like her, she pissed me off, or I quit, does Lisa fire Katie the same way she fired James, yes or no?
Absolutely not. And let this be known, I commend Katie so much. In that moment of her giving that ultimatum, she stood up for herself, defended women, and let them know that that behavior will not be tolerated even after you say you're sorry for the 20,000th time. James Kennedy needs to do work on himself. He's a loose cannon. And there's nothing in the world he needs more than to find sobriety.
Mama, I just want to say, I love that you speak your mind. I think you're badass.
Thank you.
But I wanted to know that if you knew the proposal was coming. Oh, I just got chills.
I had no idea that that was coming. He always told me, he was like, I would never propose to you on your birthday. It needs to be a separate day. Which granted, it was a separate day. My birthday's the 2nd, and he proposed on the 1st. And you guys, I mean,
Look at that baby.
I know. He could have proposed to me at McDonald's, which we both love McDonald's. This engagement was like out of a storybook, and it was the happiest moment of my entire life. And people can say whatever they want about my relationship. The fact that I am lucky enough to have this man who deals with me, who picks me up off of the floor after the passing of my dad, I go ape shit, and he loves me unconditionally. This is my true saint, and I'm so in love with him. And guess what? People say, well, what if he were broke tomorrow? Well, first of all, that would never happen, because he's got me to fall back on.
That's a good
When we both went broke, we live in a box together, and he's so chic, would be the chicest ones on Skid Row. Right?
You would be my sugar mama.
You're welcome.
I will just say with the engagement, I had planned the proposal much earlier, but her dad passed away, and really we had to get through just getting her off the floor. But once she was walking upright again, I was like, I had the ring for so long, and she's like, she's a smart one, so she's always on everything, knows where I am, what I'm doing, what I'm thinking, like she's programmed me at this point. So when we went to Cabo, it was supposed to be Bahamas originally, but there was a storm, so we moved to Cabo, so it was like a disaster, in my mind, not the moment. And when we got to Cabo, she's like, I felt like she had like a sense, and then I was like, it would be an idiot to propose on a birthday, like ruin a birthday with an engagement, like that's the dumbest thing ever. So I kept talking about that. And I said, I already planned this whole thing, don't worry, I know when I'm proposing, don't even ask, because she was like—
I wanted to know that I would have a proper manicure.
She was torturing, like weekly, like, I don't want to be the girlfriend anymore, the girlfriend, this is like too long, the girlfriend, I'm just the girlfriend. And
You guys, a boyfriend sounds so lame when he's like 47. It's like, this is my boyfriend, my man friend, I don't know.
That's great, okay. I was really feeling myself. Okay, so back to me thinking I'm 35. So, but when we were there, I really tried to dupe her, because when we were on the beach and having this dinner, I kept saying, your birthday is a magical moment to be here in Cabo. I kept talking about the birthday, it was all about the birthday. So there was no sign. And then with the friends thing, like I had this screen on the beach, and I said, I wanted for your birthday to celebrate your favorite show's friends. And we put up, she still had no idea, but at that point I had put the ring very deep down in my pants, and it had gotten lodged where I couldn't grab it.
I have the same problem.
Right? And they should have a handbook on this
Yes.
shit.
The boxes should be more aerodynamic.
And it was injuring
My crotch.
It was all bad. So we're laying on the chair watching Friends, and I was trying to get the box. I couldn't get the box. I'm like, this is going to go so horribly wrong. And so right when the screen cut out, I pushed myself onto the sand like I'd fallen off the chair. I don't know then if she knew, because it was so obvious.
I turned around, I was like, are you okay?
Are you okay? And at that point I had lodged the box out of my pants, and I was like, oh great! And then I did it. So I think she was surprised. She was bawling before I could even say a word, and then I sort of was emotional.
And then I became a fiance.
Fine. All right. One last question, and then I think we're done. Anybody else? One last, nothing? Yes.
Oh yeah, no problem, no problem. You ever been to West Hollywood? Yeah, it's fun, right?
West Hollywood.
It's gonna be hard to leave West Hollywood. I'm so.
Experience ever.
I'm not gonna
It's
lie.
just so full of love, you know? What's better than just having a bunch of people like
Just happy and just
love
celebrating life. But I'm gonna be sad to leave West Hollywood. It's gonna be sad. I'm gonna have a little FOMO. Now I have to go over the hill. I used to say I don't date 818. Remember the days where we just don't date people in the valley? Now I'm one of those people. I know. I'm a family man now. I know.
All right, let's give them a round of applause.
Thank you, everybody.